well. Hi, my name is Diana Nneka Atwarna, and I am the writer of the play Trouble in Butte Town. I am a London girl, born and bred, actually Peckham born and bred, which I know is quite unusual when people hear that I wrote a play set in Butte Town during the 40s, but it was a real passion and a real interest of mine. I've always wanted to tell stories for as long as I can remember. I've been interested in storytelling in one form or another. When I was a kid, it started off as songwriting and poetry. I really wanted to be a part of the music industry, and I would write pages and pages of songs. And it kind of coincided with a rebellious time in my teenage years, my early 20s, and my late teens. After that, I ended up going to university, studying international politics, and though I wasn't aware of it at the time, I look back now and I credit that period with really taking my writing to another level, because I wasn't just concerned with stories on my doorstep or stories from around the way. I was really interested in what was going on around all over the world. And yeah, I became obsessed with moments in history, Second World War being one of them, and actually a lot of civil wars around the world. After university, I went to law school to study a GDL conversion course because I wanted to become a barrister at the time, or so I thought. And what was really interesting is during my studies, my passion for storytelling just kind of started to bubble up to the surface. It could no longer be ignored, and I started to write some stories. Actually, the first thing I wrote was a pilot for a TV show called That Bitch Called Life, which I sent to the BBC writers' room, and they gave me feedback. And feedback back then was a really big deal because it was the confirmation that I needed to know that I was going in the right direction. So law school didn't last too long. I jacked that in and decided to pursue a career in writing, and started working on ideas for TV, radio plays, film scripts. None of them went anywhere. But eventually things turned around when I started to intern at the Royal Court Theatre, which was really the place that I credit with launching my writing career. So I wrote my first play, Liberian Girl, and eventually it got staged at the Royal Court Theatre, and was nominated for a couple of awards. And then there was quite a big gap between that and my next play, because there was a few projects that I was working on that didn't quite go anywhere. But my next play was Trouble in Butte Town, which went on at the Dunrod warehouse, and it was really a real game changer for me because it was a really challenging piece, a ton of research, but I really was obsessed with Tiger Bay's history, culture, the people, and I just felt like it was a piece of history that I just had to tell a story around. And that really kind of sums me up in the kind of writing, the things that I like to write about, worlds that I'm not necessarily, I've not necessarily experienced myself, and I may not have first-hand knowledge of, but worlds that I'm just fascinated by, especially worlds that don't play by the rules of today. So obviously Butte Town in the 1940s is a classic example of that. So too is Liberia during the Civil War in the 90s. I've always had a real interest in that. And currently I have a few projects in development with theatre, film and TV. So yeah, it's really nice talking to you.